Dude, this was our smoothest start yet.
Was it though?
Yeah, it really was. This is our
I
smoothest start.
barely rolled out of bed, dude.
Hey, at least I'm not last minute doing the edits to everything. Wait, we're oh yes, we're recording. It's say the words.
Leave your entries in the subreddit, bros.
Roll it up.
Oh, those words. All right.
Yeah.
Round it up.
The intro.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Is my camera cutting out?
No. Maybe it's racist.
Anyways, welcome everybody to the Parts Monkey Podcast episode 6. Once again, with your typical hosts, Kid Benji and Lightwater, bringing
Typical
to you
host.
our uninformed opinion on World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
Anyways, got a couple things to go over today, some of which is super exciting.
Yeah.
And some of which we honestly are just kind of taking stabs in the dark, but you know what's without a little bit of mystery.
Raids are coming out, baby. The
Yeah.
game's gonna finally really start, and Mythic Plus.
Mythic Plus, yeah, that's what I can't wait to.
I never thought with all my characters I'd be sitting in front of my screen bored. Like,
I know, right?
I realize I'm extremely rare because I'm no lifing the shit out of it. But I'm sitting there, I'm like, okay, all the world quests are done.
You think that's because like we're kind of used to this formula, like because we've basically taken the Legion formula, and they
just like Control C, Control V it, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
anyways, let's
okay.
we'll talk about that, but
yeah.
let's go into our weekly summary really quick, which is gonna be like honestly pretty fast for me because once again I don't have no fucking time. I barely have any time to like edit stuff and like post it. Which, by the way, new video on Holy Paladin just went up.
Hypers
30 minutes ago.
Holy Priest will be next, right?
It's probably our best quality video yet.
Oh.
We got the high resolution recording at a full 1080p 60 frames a second.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Quality gameplay.
You can see just how ugly I am with good quality.
Nice smooth video transitions. But yeah, it's a cool video. I really liked it because I made Holy Paladin, but yeah, definitely check it out.
Holy Paladin, by the way.
Of course. So this week, right, I'm a little bit stronger. I am at 336 item level.
Nice.
I got a 350 weapon.
Ooh. Can I just immediately cut in and say everyone's obsession with item level is once again wrong. Like, item level means nothing.
Compared to the 300 item level weapon that I had and the fact that I wasn't getting any weapons anytime soon.
I'm just saying the people that are like, I'm 345. I'm like, you could honestly be a really badly statted 345 and you'll be way worse than like a perfectly statted 335 by far.
Yeah.
10 item levels is easily honestly irrelevant in my opinion if you get the wrong stats.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, now I can like kind of optimize for like my specific stats. And I got some more haste, got some more crit, got a lot. Well, because I have a one-handed, I can use a shield now.
Dude, when you get a shield as a Holy Paladin, you switch from the offhand to the shield. It actually feels really good.
It's pretty dope because I have like the avoidance on it. Wait, no, the block on it too.
Yeah.
And the shield has haste, so like that's a plus.
Yeah, I noticed when I was leading the charge, and running in to pull the mobs because, tanks don't want to do anything with their life. The difference between I wasn't taking all my health and damage. I was just, like, taking, like, a third of it. And it's after tanking the mob and not even healing myself for, like, 10 seconds. So I was like, I'm tanking in the goddamn tank. You actually are just so tanky. You have, like, 45% damage reduction. It's just insane.
Yeah, I was passively. Like, holy shit, I can actually use this shield in one hand and it freaking was beneficial for me, so I was like,
I felt like Superman, I'll be honest.
Yeah, dude, you feel pretty
like,
strong.
Oh,
it's pretty cool too.
Oh, the group's not here? That's fine. I'll just kill this pack by myself. Like, oh, look, they're tickling me. Here, I'm not even gonna bother holy shocking myself because that's not needed yet. I'll just kill them all with wings up permanently 24/7, and
Exactly.
my 24% haste. Don't mind me.
Dude, and it used to be a lot easier to like clear those mobs, but they fucking changed the Holy Light AoE damage ability for the PvP talents. Dude, that's
I
that's so
mean,
dumb. I do like no damage now with
the
it.
thing is, they didn't actually change it. I think it had been that way, or maybe they still changed it. Who knows? But the difference is, I think we were taking more damage back in the day, right? So like you're not taking as much damage because the mobs because remember, okay, so the scaling technology, right? All that happened was the enemy mobs gained more health, but you take a lot less damage now, which means in turn you do less damage to mobs that already have more health, right? So it's a double whammy. You're
Yeah.
doing less damage and they have more health. And you're not taking as much damage, so there's not as much to heal, so you can't do as much damage with Holy Light. People are probably like, so confused in this conversation, but there is a PvP talent that lets your Holy Light do 30% of its damage in a, I believe it's 10-yard radius around the person you heal. And it has diminishing returns if the person is like full health. So it'll only do like 30% of it of 30%. So only really like 9% of the amount that you healed, and that doesn't feel very good. So, but it's an absolute blast still for islands.
Well, okay, I couldn't get it to work on Island Expeditions at all.
It's because the tank has to play properly. He has to pull enough to where he takes damage, and then and then stand next to the mobs. But we were making it work. I was doing 25k DPS, and we pulled the whole. We put. Oh, hello, car. Yeah, we pulled the whole world. It was a blast. I don't know. Holy Paladin right now just feels like, you know, it's like that hot chick that you sleep with, every once in a while. You don't tell the wife. You know what I mean? It's like, hey.
But apart from that, the healing's been great on it. I've been able to top out at 20k now that I've gotten actual gear.
Yeah.
And it just feels amazing. And I don't even have the Light of Dawn talent.
I think if you actually play perfectly and you get decent luck, it feels really good right now with the haste where I'm at, especially with the wings up 24/7. And then if you're not like being stupid like me and just pumping damage into the ads, and you actually throw the holy shocks on the group and you actually like use the infusion of light procs to heal them. Then I bet honestly it feels really strong, and I think give it some more gear and Holy Paladin's probably gonna push itself into the number 2 or probably number 1 spot, honestly.
Yeah,
for Mythic
yeah.
Plus.
I was actually talking with someone who heals on Holy Paladin, and he was telling me his talents, and he said he was taking the Beacon of Virtue talent.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Because it spread to the 3, and he was like, yeah, I thought you were supposed to stack crit, and then you would just crit with Holy Shock, and then you'd heal everyone at the same time with the beacon thing from Bestow, because it was just what he had read online.
Yeah.
But once I broke down like the actual progression of talents and why they work the way they do, he was like, oh shit, that might work too. So I'm having him try it out as well.
I do actually think there's 2 viable builds. There's kind of the weird, funny Mountain Dew addicted cocaine casino build that we have, where it's just like you pull a lever and you see oh, am I getting some divine purpose procs here today? It's a lot of fun. I feel like my build's a lot of fun, but it's not reliable. So maybe they want the more reliable, slower paced kind of paladin. But I actually generally think that with enough haste, our build's going to be that better one actually. Like, it's gonna do.
You'll still get those heals.
Well,
that you would get with that slower pace build.
I do as much damage as a DPS also, right? So it's like if things are going well, then everything's getting healed and we're doing the damage of a DPS. If it's not going well, then you just heal the whole time, and it sucks. But whatever. So I feel like it's just got a lot more like flexibility, because we can like transform into a DPS if we want, or actually heal. Whereas like I feel like the Beacon of Virtue crit Holy Paladin is like a lot slower. Can't really do too much as much damage. I don't know. We'll definitely see. Um, what was the topic again?
We're just going over the weekly summary of healers.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, my Holy Paladin is definitely getting up there, and it's once I get to where your haste is at,
Good luck.
I can see average 20K.
I got a gem on every piece of gear, baby. Literally a gem slot on every single slot.
Anyways, apart from that, I attempted to do my monk.
How'd that go? Did you level him?
I'm level 110 still.
Oh, impressive.
I mean, he'll eventually.
You make it out of Ogremar? You take your time, dude. I don't want to rush you.
Dude, I had to play on my MacBook this weekend, dude. I freaking.
Oh no.
I hit. That was a terrible experience, but
I almost got my shaman leveled up.
Oh, how'd that?
4th character, baby.
Nice.
Yeah.
Was it as painful as it sounds?
No, I mean I didn't do it. It was the first healer that I didn't play healer leveling up, and probably people are gonna be like, Jesus Christ, you played 3 healers leveling up. Yeah, I have also only world quested as 3 healers, so I don't know why I'm so stubborn and don't like playing DPS, but it's just the type of person I am. However, I do like playing the hell is enhancement? I was like, what the fuck is this spec called? I do like playing enhancement. There's a lot of buttons to press, and it feels fun. So yeah, it's been a blast. I got the little carnival buff, got the little 10% XP. Yeah. He's a panda bear, so he gets 50% more rested XP. So I kill a mob and I gain literally 1600 XP, and I'm like, it's not bad.
You're offline.
I am offline. Really?
Yeah, you're offline.
Well, that's always good, huh?
Dude, I think your shit's been cutting in and out.
Like my internet?
Possibly, because you've been going robot intermittently.
Fantastic. Is it still cut out? Let's go visit my stream.
We're live now.
Hello, test. It's your boy. Hello, test. It's your boy. Okay. Well, I mean, there we are. Anyways, the recording's not going to be fucked up. Did you have in your camera?
Sorry, had to switch ports.
This is a professional setup, okay? And you're ruining everything.
Don't worry, dude. The power of magic of editing.
Hello? Can my phone just shut the fuck up? I'm putting it on silent, dude.
You're doing great. Did my camera come back up? Or
no. Give me tendies. Fucking mute this bitch. Welcome back.
Okay, but is Shaman healing as shitty as it seems?
Okay, here's the question. How much do we value their utility? And how much are we going to overlook their... and Mythic Plus?
Well, Mythic Plus, I mean, that's pretty much all it's going to be about. Yeah,
true. The thing is, typically Mythic Plus doesn't require really high HPS. Usually doesn't, right? Because you have to think. They're making a competitive sport for the masses, and the masses suck at healing. I'm just going to put it out there because they do. So they need to keep the HPS low, and the CC required and all that. All the other small bullshit things, those are typically where you have to excel. So having another interrupt, having a Spirit Link totem, having a res totem that doesn't count against the number of battle reses you have. I feel like the Shaman actually brings a fair amount of utility and would be a little bit of a different healer to bring along. That being said, I just really wouldn't bring them because they don't seem that mobile, and Spirit Walker's Grace is only up for so long, Yeah. So I wouldn't really ever bring one, but maybe people think otherwise. Who knows? I would. It's pretty much on lock. I feel like what healers are good. And it's like you don't bring Holy Priest and Resto Shaman to the Mythic Plus party. Anything else is, I think, viable in the highest mode. But I don't think you're gonna see those in the MDIs. So it just is what it is.
Or you might someone just knows how to play like a god, but you never know.
The problem is it's like typically I've already thought of the alternate builds that could allow them to do it, right? And there is literally no flexibility with the Resto Shaman. I came up with a different build, but it wasn't like, oh, let me put points into this, which makes these things better, and it's weird, it's quirky. No, I literally came up with a build that got rid of half the class's spells. like I got rid of the original spell book. That's not designed, right? Like that's not a proper build, and it would never work in a Mythic Plus. So I have no, because I don't think it's my fault, and I don't think other people it's their fault either if they're not doing well in Mythic Plus. The class literally has nothing for it, like as healing wise. Like it has some utility, sure, but in Mythic Plus, I think you kind of just need to be OP in every area. And I'm not sure having like an extra interrupt and a purge is going to be that good. Like whatever, right? Like interrupting ads is important. You know, they would have a cap totem, which would be good. Like they have tools, but it's like they need so many. Huh?
Your audio, I can't hear you.
You can't hear me.
I can hear you on stream, but I can't hear you.
In Discord. I fucking hate Discord, dude. Hang on. Hello? Can you hear me now? How about now? Fantastic. I fucking love this shit. And now this God damn it. Can you hear me now? Hello? Oh my god.
Can't hear you.
Alright.
Oh,
you
there
good?
you go. Yeah, I can hear you now.
Dude, Discord has been fucking up non-stop lately for me. And I know it's not my mic, and I know it's not my computer, it's just Discord, like, randomly being like, yeah, I can't, I don't sense your mic anymore.
My camera's flashing. Like,
yeah, every once in a while, yeah, it's kind of annoying. I don't know why.
It's never done that until now.
It's never done that before.
Hold on, let me do this. I thought I had
it. Yeah. For Holy Priest, I feel like you just can't even run Binding Heal. And because you can't run Binding Heal, which is like honestly like you're kind of your best thing, then you're forced to go Surge of Light, Trail of Light build for Mythic Plus, which just feels weak. So, everybody's been figuring out now. It took them a whole expansion, but they found out that Holy Priests do a lot of damage. Did you see the Sims with the Holy Priest in the raid?
Mm-mm.
It does almost the same single target DPS, like patchwork DPS fight in a raid as the Shadow Priest.
I thought that was Holy Priest that they were out doing Shadow Priest.
No, they're literally like almost the same DPS, yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah. And so it makes you wonder, maybe if the Holy Priest has like the right traits, like DPS traits, like maybe they factored all that in already, you know? Maybe that's why it's so close, is that these traits are such a high portion of people's damage, and I think that's the case. I really do.
Yeah.
So that's kind of interesting that you can basically just run these DPS traits, and because you're not a monkey and you can press the keyboards, you just do damage. It's kind of funny.
Yeah.
So
and then how's Druid been?
I mean, I just feel like a god. Like I was watching Sea-Doo's stream, right?
Yeah.
And so this is a pretty good indicator because this is a world-class PvP player, but not necessarily a world-class PvE player. And he was struggling to do over 10k. So it very much seemed, and he was very proactive. So I would like to point out that he was casting every global, but couldn't do over 10k, right? So my theory about Rest of Druid is correct. Essentially, if you don't know what you're doing, you're gonna do more than like half as bad as somebody else, right? So I mean, you contrast that to me and my Rest of Druid, I could do 25k and a Mythic Plus, like, or Mythic 0, right? Like, it's insane. Like, I just feel like, oh, I'm walking around and like I'm a god. Like, if I have the prep time and I got the rejuves up, then we're not wiping.
Yeah.
You stand in my little mushroom. You get the spring blossoms hot. You get the cultivation hot. You get the rejuve hot. The regrowth hot. The wild growth hot. Oh, look at that! I'm doing 100% increased healing on you.
I wish
Like, what?
Was it the hammer of light, that AoE heal that
Was good.
yeah, imagine if you could just throw that hammer and it was like every 30 seconds or so. And
Yeah.
like, I don't know.
Or imagine if it didn't have a cooldown, and they left the decision into your hands, because all they have to do is to put a hefty mana cost on it, right? And then it's up to you when you decide when you put it down on the ground and when people stand in it.
Yeah.
Right? I realize that then it just becomes just like every other healer's thing, right? It becomes just like Mushroom, and it becomes just like Healing Rain, and that's kind of boring.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because they fell into that trap before. That's what Cataclysm was. Every single healer had a quick heal, a cheap heal, and a really, really long casting heal. That was really, really powerful. Like, every healer. And they literally, it was like, the recipe was like, greater heal, flash heal, heal for every healer. It was pretty boring. And I don't want the world to get like that. I want us to all be, quirky and unique. So.
Well, look, like, just in that those 30 seconds you talked, I just came up a way to make the spell interest, right?
Okay, go for it.
Imagine if you threw down the hammer, right? And then people in it, people don't have to stand in it. They could stand in it, but once they run through it or come in contact with it, it would put we'll call it like a beacon hammer. And for like 1, 2, or 3 heals, every time you heal, that person would receive 40% of the heal up to 3 times.
Okay. So it modifies incoming heals.
Yeah. So for example, well, they would essentially get temporary beacons, right? But they would only get it for a certain amount of heals.
Yeah.
Per heal.
I think
you know what I mean?
You lose a large portion of the budget of the power of your talent when you also include damage on it, right? So personally, I would rather it just like, I don't know. It's in a weird place. It's like it does damage, but then it heals, but it's not really that much healing for the ridiculous mana cost. And then it has a cooldown, and it's like the area is not that big. I think if it followed you around maybe and attacked enemies, like it's animated and would attack enemies, and then it would provide the healing area around wherever it decided to attack, that would be interesting.
Or if it just empowered your heals for people standing in it.
Like, what if you pushed a button and it's like now you have this like hammer that follows you around and beats the shit out of enemies, and then
we had that talent. Remember?
Yeah, we used to have that.
Hammer thing.
Yeah, bring it back, dude.
Oh my god, I'm about to sneeze.
Maybe make it like a pet. Like, honestly, that would be kind of cool, right? You summon him, and it's like a 30-second pet, and you can control where he goes. And Paul said it's AoE healing around him, and then he attacks the enemies for you.
Oh my god, I almost sneezed, but...
Or maybe it does healing based off the damage it does, and it attacks things, and then pulses healing based on the damage it does to like a 15-yard radius.
Yeah.
And so you'd have to be smart about who you have it attacking, so it can like splash healing people. And then you'd have to keep resummoning him every, 30 seconds or whatever. But like this ground targeted AoE shit is boring, right? I think it'd be cool if you had this animated hammer that follows you around and beats the shit out of things and heals you. That'd be dope.
Yeah, like, see, it's like interesting and unique, and it's something that kind of sticks with the class altogether,
Yeah.
If you were to describe that spell, you'd be like, oh, that's the Holy Paladin AoE spell.
Yeah.
Like, you can't say, oh, that's just like healer X, Y, and Z. But I mean, I think you're kind of like coming up with like the other fundamental problem with WoW is like the how it's coded, right? and how what happens when
Yeah.
you try to introduce something into the game that's like too dynamic,
Mm-hmm.
and then it ends up breaking the game altogether. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think there's too much innovation. Maybe they're able to actually innovate, like, mentally, but their game's like
Yeah.
physically locking them down. Um,
Yeah, someone told them like that 2 million gold spider mount.
uh-huh.
Someone posted on Reddit. They're like, how to make it worth 2 mil, and it showed the spider. Someone photoshopped the spider on the side of a wall. So if you can like climb on the
Yeah.
buildings with the spider,
But there's
like,
no
that'd
way
be sick.
there's
But it'd be
no way
impossible to
there's
code.
there's no way they would know how to do that.
Yeah, but I mean,
They would know how to do it, but there's no way it would be able to be done right away.
yeah. So apart from that, you haven't done disc, huh?
I have not done anything for disc. It's just I feel like I'm just being torn apart everywhere, and I feel like disc would take a while to learn for Mythic Zeros, and I can never play disc in Mythic Zeros because I'm in a cloth loot share group for the rest of our guild. So my basically Lightwater at this point, my priest is just a slave to get Endeavor gear. Like it's why he exists. So I just get on him, and there's no dicking around, right? Like, we have to get all these things done, and so I run like something like 20 Mythic Zeros on Tuesday, right? So it's like
Shit.
yeah. So and then I ran the other 10 Mythic Zeros on Wednesday. So I don't really have time. Like, honestly, that's the problem. But then the rest of the week was so boring. But it's like other people don't really have time, I guess is what I should say. And so I'm forced to not dick around, and I'm actually to put my serious pants on. So I have to play holy, and then I don't know. I guess in theory, when I do the disc video, I'll probably spend a whole day on disc, learning it, mastering it. I know that sounds ridiculous in one day, God forbid. Yeah. But I'm honestly pretty confident in myself. That I'll be able to figure it out, and then I get to pretend like I'm an expert and try to get on it. I mean, what can you do? I know all the math through and through, so it's just actually getting experience and trying to figure out what to do in a 5-man setting, right? I know how to heal on disc in raid. Actually, I could honestly raid disc I could be the disc player. I really could. It's still enough time right now. I could go play disc for raid. If I decided right now I was maining disc priest, I might actually be able to convince Endeavor to let me do it.
That would be super interesting.
Yeah, it would be. But that's
to see it actually happen.
Yeah, that's my point. Is like I could do it, but I'm not going to because it's just not worth it. It's a lot of effort for basically the same return that is Holy Priest. Yeah. Right. It's like whatever. I want to do something new. I already played Priest. Yeah. So, but yeah, I do need to do Disc Priest and some Mythic Zeros, and I think that'll be kind of fun. We'll see what kind of weird builds I come up with. You're probably not going to run Schism. I don't think Schism has a place. Oh yeah, thanks for the follow. But yeah, I don't think I'll have to figure it out. But yeah.
I will Charizard when it pops up.
I know.
So cute.
What's our next topic?
Cool. So yeah, we'll transition right now.
Ooh, transition.
You fucking AFK, dude. You just wiped the raid, Lightwater.
Easy sub. Let's go.
You just wiped the raid, Lightwater.
On
fucking idiot.
6 weeks or 6 podcasts in a row, and I got my raise, so I was like, fuck it, might as well drop this sub while we're live.
Oh yeah.
So healing ranks haven't pretty much changed at all until this next week is like kind of dry for content this past week, but after this week we're gonna have a lot to talk about.
Yeah, I do think that the only shifting for Mythic Plus that's going to happen is in 2 weeks the Holy Paladin's going to pass the Resto Druid because the HPS requirement will not be as high. It'll be an execution requirement rather than an HPS requirement, right? So yeah, it just is what it is. That shit always happens, it's fine. All right.
Cool. So let's go on to the raid bosses for this tier.
Yeah. I watched the videos, dude. They look interesting.
I have not.
Oh, that's good. Casual, by the way.
Just like last expansion.
Just like last time.
still ended up healing, by the way. Constantly
By the way,
asking Lightwater, what do I do, by the way? You remember that?
Yeah, that was.
I just kept whispering to you, okay, what do I do now? And you're like, just go here, go here, go here.
That shit was bad.
Shit.
You were always pretty decent, I felt, at mechanics.
Yeah, because, well, I mean, it kind of helped that there were people that were worse than me at mechanics.
Damn. Shots fired!
Just kidding. No one.
Just kidding, by the way.
Well, out of everything, okay, so you're gonna be druid, right? And I'm gonna be holy paladin.
Yep.
Where am I? Where should I shine and where should you shine?
I actually think Holy Paladin's gonna be okay. The real problem I think with Holy Paladin though right now is that they didn't seem to make too many fights where the AoE damage was consistent. And by consistent I mean random. I know that you wouldn't think random means consistent, but essentially all of the AoE damage is incredibly telegraphed. Like
Really?
Yeah, every single AoE damage dealt to the raid you know about or should know about as a healer.
Yeah.
And so what does that mean? That means naturally the classes with the lottery play style are going to be worse, which is Holy Paladin, and classes with telegraphed AoE healing are going to be a lot better. So your druids, your disc priest, your shamans, monks. So anybody who has a button that does not necessarily makes it like they're not necessarily just always good at AoE healing.
Yeah.
So a lot of people have the button.
Do you feel I feel like my auras haven't been strong.
As a paladin?
Yeah.
I mean, have you been trying, like, what auras have you been trying?
I mean, just Mercy for the most part, because that's supposed to be the strongest throughput, right?
I feel like Mercy probably needs to get buffed a little bit, considering how OP the other one's going to be in a raid. Like, I really do. I feel like Mercy
is going to be great.
I feel like Mercy should probably do, like, maybe affect more targets, and then do double healing in 5-mans, personally, because it feels a little weak. But, I mean, over the course of the time, it still ends up being like 5 to 10% of your healing. And then if you if you get a really good aura mastery off, it can actually be like 15% of your healing. That being said, Holy Paladins are probably gonna be forced not to take it and to go a different route. Probably go the aura sacrifice and then use that with aura mastery while popping like probably bubble. So essentially, your whole group will have a 30% wall for 10 seconds. I think that's probably enough of a reason to bring them over a shaman, personally, right? Like,
especially with devotion too.
Yeah. But your role, okay. So here's what I noticed. It seemed like a lot of fights. It was very telegraphed, AoE wise, but the single target was random. So there's going to be like 3 or 4 targets that randomly take a lot of their health and damage. So as a Holy Paladin, that should feel pretty home. You're just going to Holy Shock it all the time, right? In Druid, I'm just going to, rejuve with the lowest health one, get the cultivation going, and then hit him with a regrowth. It should be pretty simple. I didn't find that there was... unfortunately, it doesn't seem like we're going to have the golden age, where the whole raid is just constantly at like half health and you don't feel pressure to heal them. It didn't seem like that at all. It seemed like the mechanics pretty much ruled the fight, and there's a lot of stacks in a lot of these fights where it was like you fuck up and you wipe the raid, or and there was still a lot of one shots too. So I mean, it is what it is. But what there did seem like a lot of was tank healing, which isn't necessarily Paladin's thing, even though everybody does think it is. Yeah. But you should get some good mileage out of the beacon, and it's so obviously telegraphed whose job it is to be tanking. So you're probably going to do a fair amount of tank swapping with your beacon if you run Divine Purpose.
Do you think in the beginning we should be going Beacon of Light with Bestow Fate? Because do you really want to risk doing melee in the beginning?
I would.
With mechanics?
I'm ride or die on the build right now, Benji. I'm in love with it. I don't even care if it's wrong.
No. I'm not saying it's wrong. What I'm saying is, like, you remember in the beginning of Zeros?
Yeah.
How bad it felt to play Holy Paladin, but then it progressively got
better,
a lot stronger.
Yeah.
I'm just talking about for like the first probably like the first week, like you would do Bestow Light.
I don't think so.
Really?
No, because what was the issue? It was haste. So once you get the haste, you got to play the game
Well,
correctly.
not only that, but not being comfortable. Like actually, like you can see it,
I mean, here's
but
the
like
thing:
doing it's
the other
different.
Ook melee DPS are living just fine up there somewhere. Surely you can as well.
Yeah, but they're not. You're not as mobile as them. Probably.
I disagree actually. Well, okay, they are a little bit more mobile, but the thing is, you can literally cast every spell you want to as a holy paladin while moving, as long as you get to attack the boss, right?
Yeah.
Like that's the cool part, is actually holy paladins are the most mobile healer this time around.
Would you take Cavalier then? No, wait, no, that's in the same tier as Will of Law, right?
Yeah, and that's an HPS increase, and I feel like you actually really want that because you're the 40-yard Light of Dawn.
Yeah.
See, we've never gotten to use the 40-yard Light of Dawn in a raid yet, and I'm really excited about that. That's gonna be
that's right. We never actually got to get the
and
runes.
with Rule of Law, it's gonna give you your full mastery on the people even in the back, because what Rule of Law is gonna do is gonna extend the range to 60 yards, which means basically the way it works is it also doubles the range of your mastery. So because it moves it to 60 yards, right? Then the fall off at 100% would be at 60, and it would start to deteriorate at like 20. But because it doubles that, it doesn't even like start to deteriorate to like 40. Basically, everyone's going to get your full mastery on when your Rule of Law procs are up, and you'll average a 33% uptime on about 1/3. So that should be pretty dope. Mastery is still not, I don't think, a good stat though. I really don't.
Me neither.
Yeah. I think the way is just haste and crit.
The mastery is like it's like the frosting on top of a cake.
Yeah.
You know? It's
I
like,
think
it's cool. It's cool to look at. Like
yeah.
It's there.
I think you just go heavy haste until something fun happens.
Oh,
like
shit.
there's gonna be a moment where we dial back to haste, I think, but I haven't reached that yet. I think it's gonna be 30%.
What was I say? What did I say before? It was like 30% haste, 35% crit. That's like the dream.
Well, I would love to get 40% crit, right? Because then, if you'll always have
possible though.
Sure, why not? I mean, stack enough of it, right? I mean, we'll see. I don't know if you're gonna be able to get 30% haste and 40% crit. That's rather large, you know.
Yeah.
I gotta put my headset in.
All the technical
Professional,
difficulties.
by the way.
All the technical difficulties. This podcast, it's like everything's going wrong.
Shit's scuffed
So
as hell,
dumb.
dude. I even charged these before, and I don't know what's going on. Okay, yeah, but we can talk about the bosses a little bit, right? That's what we were gonna do. Hello?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
Can you hear
talking about the bosses a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, so first boss is Talik. It's actually a really cool entrance to the raid, because you fight this boss on an elevator, and after the first phase, he powers down, and you take an elevator trip all the way to the bottom. And phase 2 doesn't end until the elevator reaches the bottom, so it's really cool.
So so it's like two bosses in one. You got the regular boss
and the elevator boss. Yes, yeah.
This is gonna be so fun on LFR.
I know, because you can get knocked off the elevator.
Really?
Like it's yeah, you can. It's very much an elevator boss. Yeah.
Shit. You need that. You're gonna need that. What's it called? What's the thing that prevents the fucking swamp? That swap toy.
Oh Lord. Oh God.
Yeah, you're gonna have to take that interrupter.
Not our guild. Oh man. Yeah, you're gonna have to get the deflector, the disruptor, whatever it is. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Fucking Folt's gonna try to swap you off the edge. Yes, you can get knocked off the edge, and then if you survive the fall, you actually can wait for the rest of your raid to get all the way down to the bottom, and you can rejoin them for phase 3. So it'll be kind of interesting, because the blobs explode and knock people back, so maybe somebody will get knocked off, and then join us like a couple minutes later in the fight. Like, just sitting down there chilling, dude. They slow fold, you know? Maybe they're an idiot and the elevator crushes them. That would be honestly the greatest. Like, they're like, oh man, I got knocked off. I wish you guys, when you guys get down here. And then, like, you just crush them with the elevator. We're here. So we'll see. Yeah, okay, so the first boss is, like, pretty simple, kind of. He, like, throws his weapon and, like, randomly remembers it exists and then charges back to it and basically one-shotting anybody that's hit, so you don't get hit by that shit. I think there's some like knockback mechanic. It's a sanguine shock. But I think, yeah, you just don't want to get hit by that. I think he does that in the frontal cone or something. Basic knockback mechanic. Selects the target, and after a few seconds, knocks back everyone between the boss and that person. Yeah. I think the first phase is really simple, and then he powers down, and then you take the elevator ride, and that's where it really starts to get fun. So then there's like, I think you have to drop like this stuff on the outer rim of the platform as you're moving around and kiting these little ads. And so it's basically just like, don't fill the platform up with poop and just keep everybody has to rotate around in a circle until the elevator ride's done. It's volatile droplets and then congealed blood. I don't know if I butchered that word, but those things do a lot of damage to the tank. So there's gonna be a lot of tank healing, by the way, in this first raid, Benji. That's what I've noticed. A lot of tank. There's only 3 types of healing right now. It's tank healing, spot healing, and raid healing on scripted cooldowns. Yeah. So it's random spot healing of like 4 people at a time, scripted AoE, and then just constant pressure on your tanks. So I think that's actually, that pretty much is the best case scenario for the Mistweaver. Now that I'm thinking about it. Constant damage to tanks, check. They love that. Occasional spot healing, they also love that. And then scripted AoE, perfect. They can't use their AoE ability other than every 30 seconds, anyways. If they, if they run the swirly talent, whatever the hell it's called. So, phase 2 strat. Raid starts on the edge of the elevator. One person soaks. So the little blobs will focus you, and they'll run at you. And so essentially you have to stand right next to the tank, because when the blobs die, they knock people back and then create like a little puddle on the ground, I think. So it's basically like, I don't know, you just kind of you just stand on top of the tank and you guys rotate around while the damage kills the little ads. And I think that's the fight, honestly. It's a really cool way of putting a fight into the beginning sequence of entering the raid. So it's like they added the elevator ride into the first boss, right? Yeah. So I think it's cool. It's like I don't know. It was a good idea. I like it.
Are there any bosses specifically like that stick out to you?
Oh, Mother. Yeah, which is literally the next boss. So Mother you fight in these series of rooms. And every time someone goes from one room to the next, it has like a decontainment field. And you have to pass through essentially this laser like barrier wall. Every time someone passes through that, the raid takes a significant amount of damage, like a third of its health.
Yeah.
And because there's no cap to how many times you can pass back and forth between rooms, you could wipe anybody. Like an idiot can wipe anybody. Oh, yeah. You like where this is going, huh? Can I only imagine LFR? Because this is like the key mechanic. So they can't write this out in LFR. All they can do is minimize the amount of damage it does. But I foresee another bridge scenario. It's like, okay, everybody, time to walk across the bridge. And then it's just, holy shit, Everybody's just running the mines. People are cussing. Like, the chat's going bananas. You're just struggling to try to heal it all, but there's no healing it. Yeah, it's going to be fun. But the fight's going to be really interesting. So you start out in one room. It's kind of like a Saw moment. The room slowly starts filling with fire. And you have to evacuate the room into the next room slowly, because every time you go through it, the raid takes all its health and damage. Mm-hmm. So you start slowly shifting people over into the next room, and you want to delay shifting people. So it's an interesting thing. It's gonna be really difficult for your raid leader to call, because as soon as you start shifting people into the next room, it starts spawning the ads into the next room, right? So you want to delay for as long as possible, so you don't have to fight other ads. But then the damage will ramp up in your room too much. But then you need to start transferring people over, right? But you don't want the fire to be too crazy in your room. It's a balancing game, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, how long can we delay? And then how quickly can we get our asses into the room once we do start to delay? Because we want to get out of this room as soon as possible. And so basically, that's the whole fight. There's some winds that push you randomly somehow into like a section of the floor that's colored red, and then that'll fuck you up. And then in the third room, there's this giant spinning laser of death with the winds. So I felt like that was actually really insane. Like, some healers are going to have a really hard time with that. Like, how the fuck Holy Priest is going to do any healing during that moment, I don't know. Right? Like, I even as a resto druid, I was kind of like, this is going to be a yikes, you know? I'm going to have to use, like, Tiger Dash, run, like, Feral Affinity, just to get enough movement speed in, like, kitty cat form to, like, not get pushed into this laser. I don't know about everybody else's, like, movement speed mechanics, but it's pretty much an absolute must. If you're like Holy Priest or Disc Priest, you gotta run Feather. So that's kind of a little bit of a hit there. But yeah, it honestly looked like a fun fight. Let's see. We can go briefly over the Fetid Devourer. Is this the... Okay, I think this is just the guy that throws up everywhere and spawns the little blobs, right? Yeah, let's see. Fetid Frenzy.
Yeah.
Loosely spread throughout the room. Thanks for their back against a wall between two crevices as shown. Dodge the rotting regurgitation. Yeah, this fight was pretty fucking simple. I think the boss just spawns these little blobs on the ground. And he's like this, like, I don't know, this like trash monster, right? And so essentially you get thrown into Uldir's like trash compactor, and there's this critter down there, this giant, like, you know those weird like things that have two legs and like it's just a giant mouth, you know, like those the things that we've been seeing in Underrot. It's basically just a big one of those in Underrot, if I remember correctly. Maybe I'm wrong, but he doesn't really do too much. He just kind of throws up everywhere and then tries to eat some poop on the ground. You have to DPS down the poop before he gets to eat it, otherwise something bad happens. I don't remember what. So that's it. Honestly, it's just like dodge the puke, kill the thing. And then there was a decent amount to heal, if I remember. But the healing was incredibly telegraphed again. So it was just like, roll a CD here, roll a CD there, roll a CD here. So it was like, boring. Now, moving on to the fight I'm actually the most excited about, which, you know, Fat Boss hated the most, which I thought was interesting. Vectis. So everybody constantly keeps getting higher and higher stacks of a debuff. And every, like, 5 seconds or 10 seconds, the boss does this, like, move called... I have no idea. But anyways, essentially, he pulses the whole raid with damage, right? And you get this infection, which constantly increases how much damage that move does to you. And you get this based on your proximity to the boss. So, to control the stacks that you get... you just simply move closer to the boss to get more, or move away from the boss to get less, and that puts more people between you and the boss, and they'll start getting stacks. So it's a balancing act, right? You have to make sure that you have gotten some stacks, but you're not the highest, right? And then every 5 seconds he does like this, you know, this like move, and then boom, everyone's hit. But it looked like it was just constant healing, honestly, and everybody just stacks. So a good old stack and heal fight. I love that. So this should be a lot of fun, and hopefully I hope the damage just ramps up. There's also some dodgeable mechanics in Phase 2. Those also add stacks, so it's like everything just keeps adding stacks. So by the end, and it's supposed to be a really long fight. So the whole point is, you know, you're like getting 30 fucking stacks by the end of it, you know, and these shouts that he does, or these little moves he does, is like half the raid's health every 5 seconds. Like, so eventually it will be a wipe. That's what they theorize is there's no... how do you say? There's no enrage timer. It's just eventually he's going to just slaughter all of you.
Yeah.
Which is kind of fun. So I hope there's a lot of healing with that fight, honestly. And let's see. Zek Vaz. I think this is the troll dude. I think, right?
How far do you think you guys are gonna get tomorrow?
On Tuesday?
You guys are going straight to heroic, aren't you? Sorry.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I think people are simultaneously underestimating and overestimating this stuff. I think there's going to be some fights that definitely give us some problems.
We should make bets.
Oh, yeah?
Want to bet 20k gold?
okay.
Mm,
I think it's going to take us all week to kill Heroic, because I think everyone's going to think that it's too easy. And I think that we're going to kill most of the bosses right away, and then we're going to be stuck on the last boss for a decent chunk of time. We'll kill it with like half of a raid night left. That's my theory.
what days are you raiding this week?
It should be Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Because we're only doing 3 days, because, we're badasses. And we want to min-max the amount of time people are able to do Mythic Plus.
Tuesday.
But once Mythic comes out, we go Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, where we do 4 days.
I want to say you guys will clear everything in 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know what value to assign the Raiders rage timers,
I mean, we're going to be taking everybody,
like
right?
Endeavor personal rage timer.
Oh, yeah. Now, here's the thing. We're going to be taking everybody. So we're cramming 30 people into this bitch. So it's going to be a proper shit show.
Taking the highest.
No. This is normal and heroic. You can bring a 30-man raid.
No, I mean, didn't he want to do 25?
I mean, if shit hits the fan, I'm sure he'll trim the fat. But, I mean, it's not like they're friends and family. No, this is legitimately... There are 32 people all competing for 20 spots in our guild. It's actually a lot of competition.
Yeah.
I'm surprised I haven't gotten the speech yet. Lightwater, are you really taking this seriously? I just don't feel like you're committed to the cause,
Yeah.
Bitch, I don't sleep anymore. I don't leave the house.
I'm just chilling. I'm going to be focusing on Mythic Plus the whole time. And then,
That's smart.
What is it? 2 months in, once people start to quit, Endeavor goes, "Hey, Benji, can you heal?"
It's a classic, dude. Yeah. Yeah, and I got an argument. I forgot who it was, but it was I would rather the people who I'd rather people quit honestly than stick around and be unmotivated. Right? And personally, I don't want to have people that quit either. So I don't know. We'll see. I am a little bit worried about. I'm not worried of a first tier. I really don't think anybody's gonna get burnt out in the first tier. I really don't. It's the second tier I worry about. But that's a whole nother fucking couple months from now. Well, who knows, half a year.
I'm just gonna try to be as ready as I can be.
Yeah.
So if I get the chance, cool.
And there's not too many holy paladins, I think. So you're chilling.
Yeah, and honestly, I'll probably still have fun just trying to get high mythic key times.
Mm-hmm.
Which will be dope. And I'll have enough people to actually run it. Try to get higher and higher times. But apart from that, I think it's gonna be good.
Oh, okay.
This tier will be fun.
All right, I'll just quickly go over the last few bosses, by the way, so we can get them all done. So I did Vectis. Okay, so Zekvaz, 3-phase fight. Fights begin after 90%. Void Lash. Okay, yes, this guy was pretty interesting. I think there is there's a thing called the Titan Spark that just zaps the raid all the time. And it just constantly keeps doing more and more damage. And so I think this is also going to be a really fun fight to heal. Yeah, it's called Titan Spark, and it literally just zaps people just because there wasn't enough damage going to the raid most of the fight. Giving healers something to heal. Cast every 20 seconds. Oh, and it speeds up. That's right. All right. Later on, it speeds up. He's an I-beam. I honestly forgot what the hell this fight is even about.
What's the next one?
Let's see. So the next one's Zul. So you remember Zul from the storyline, right? That troll guy, and then there was all that shit that we skipped, because we didn't have time to watch cinematics. This one's interesting. Okay, so the worst part about Zul is you basically need a priest. Because he summons these ads from the sides, and Zul is the boss where it starts getting real, by the way. This is a real boss, because you have to do mechanics, or you just lose. And King's Rest, I think it is, where those dumb little ads will come out, and if you don't arcane torrent them right away, they fear you.
Oh yeah.
Same shit. 3 or 4 or
Oh,
5
really?
ads spawn from 2 different areas on the platform, and they need to be mass dispelled instantly. And if they're just mass, then they're just killed. They're dead. Or
That'll
if
be
you
fun.
have someone come over and arcane torrent them, but otherwise they charge into the raid and start trying to fear people. So they basically need to be individually dispelled, purged, arcane torrented, which is all stuff as a druid I can't do. Lol. So yeah, that's gonna have to be Shadow Priest's job, I think, or who knows? Maybe like I fear that I might have to play my priest for this fight on Mythic, but we'll see.
Yeah. What's next?
Let me see. Oh, also he does. I think I want to say he does mind controlling in this fight. Or maybe that's the last fight. But yeah, okay. So the next fight is Mithrax, which I believe is it the last fight? Oh no, Cahoons. Okay, so Mithrax. Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, so this boss constantly does this thing. You constantly get stacks of Annihilation, and Annihilation reduces your maximum HP by 1%. And the boss constantly does like this AoE ability. So essentially, if you get too many stacks of Annihilation, you won't be able to survive the AoE ability. Now, every time you get a stack of Annihilation, or every two stacks of Annihilation you spawn 1 orb, and if someone runs over it, then they can get rid of 1 stack of Annihilation. So, like halfway into the fight, apparently, the people are saying that you might need to have your players intentionally take damage from certain abilities to get more orbs to spawn, just so your tanks can get rid of more of their stacks.
Yeah.
Which is a really cool concept, right? So we'll have to see. Basically, it's gonna reduce everyone's maximum HP by a lot, which means that burst heals are gonna be even more important, and hot heals are gonna be worth less, right? And like the rest of Shaman's Mastery is gonna be dog shit. Like it's just gonna be all about reaction speed. So I think that will actually be a really good fight for the old paladin, the paladin.
Dude, this last fight, I was reading it.
Mm-hmm.
What the
It's
fuck?
pretty insane.
We're playing basketball, dude.
Oh, you're
We're balling.
certainly doing something. Let's see. I think.
You can throw the orb, then catch it, and then throw it again. That's hilarious.
Yeah, so Cahoon, I think
Ultimate teamwork strat.
basically basketball. Yeah. I didn't even see this part of it, honestly. All I saw was the mind controlling shit. Or wait, is that this boss, or is there one more? That's this boss, right? I'm not sure if it's this boss or if it was the Zul fight, but essentially at some point, there's going to be a mechanic that we have to dispel as healers, right? And so what happens is it picks 2 players, and it's called like the end is nigh or something, and they immediately get mind controlled, and they start attempting to commit suicide by running off the platform. And so we have to dispel them so that they're no longer mind controlled. But the second we dispel them, it puts on this huge pool of poop on the ground. So the goal is 2 of these people, become suicidal and start sprinting for the edge, and we want to dispel them right at the edge, so we can get the pool to drop on the ground, but not away from the raid. That's a pretty interesting mechanic, right? And then when we do dispel them, the raid takes a lot of damage.
That sounds like the last boss on EN.
Oh yeah, where people are getting taken over.
Yeah.
Yeah, but basically it's a lot different because when we dispel them, we all take damage, and then they're trying to commit suicide and they drop poop when we do dispel them. So it's kind of interesting. One of the mechanics, one of the things they were doing to get around that, this was they were life gripping one of them back, and then they would let one do it, then they would dispel him, and then the other one would be desynced, and then he would go. And I think you also want to be wary of where you're standing, because your character is going to attempt to commit suicide in a straight line to the closest outer edge. So they have their players strategically standing in spots to where, like, they drop the pools in the same area, right? So everybody has to stand in certain areas. So that'll be definitely something interesting as a healer to have to do. Not really looking forward to it, but we shall see.
So it's looking to be a
pretty
interesting year. So
everything is still doing the same old shit, like like AoE damage done every 10 seconds, AoE damage done every 20, AoE damage done every time this happens, or AoE damage done whenever this happens. There is no just random dodgeable constant mechanics that non-dodgeable, right? Like it's like, I don't know. There's nothing just constantly like plaguing our group and giving us stuff to heal, it feels like, which is kind of a shame. Yeah. Like, I want some thorns or something. Give me something to heal, right? Like
brambles. In
the videos, Benji, so try to guess. Now, granted, this was from beta, and they didn't have the gear we have. They had like, so we have like 110k basically, or like 100k life. Whereas like in the video I was watching, they only had like 70. So they're about 70% as strong as us. But guess what the HBS was? Like, try to guess where they're at. Like
10k.
Okay, so you're saying 10k?
Yeah.
Not even that.
Really?
Yeah, the top HBS, a lot of the videos was 7k, and it was like the Holy Paladin. Right? And I was like, Jesus Christ, like, this is fucking terrible. I'm gonna be pumping like 20k raw. So if there's only 7k to heal, like it's not a good first raid in my opinion. Like, I can't wait till we get to Mythic, because otherwise it's gonna be too fucking easy. Yeah. I'm hoping with 30 people maybe it'll be a proper shit show, and there'll be lots of stuff for your boy Swiftwater to heal. But I don't like the telegraph damage, especially as my build and playing on a druid. I've always never been a fan of telegraph damage. It's just so boring. And it just gives them an excuse to make the damage so large. And then eventually, because you didn't do one mechanic correctly, it just wipes everybody. Like, I think it's lazy, personally.
Yeah.
And it's like, our player base is too stupid to be able to figure out how to heal when there's random chaos going on. So we synced all the damage to this one moment every 10 seconds. So then their dumb brain could be like, this is my time to heal. Boop. Then I sit for 8 seconds, I don't know, we'll see. The tanks get destroyed, though, I think, in every boss fight, so that'll be fun. So I'll probably just be doing a large amount of tank healing. Probably the old Rejuve, Cultivation, Regrowth. I might even switch Life Bloom, depending on how hard they're getting smashed. I don't actually think Life Bloom being put on myself with Photosynthesis all the time is going to be that good. Because there's just a sheer lack of raid healing to be done. But we'll see. I mean, I'll be swapping it around probably and try to figure out how to make it work. I really don't want to play Flourish, even though it would make sense in a lot of these a little bit. But I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I'm excited.
I am too. It's high time, man. And here's the thing: if I don't have fun in raids, I know I'm gonna have fun in Mythic Plus.
Yeah. All
the Mythic Plus felt really good to heal. It was a lot of fun. I felt like there was a decent amount of AoE in a lot of them. I don't know. How did you feel? And I felt like the tanks got smashed, which was fun. Yeah,
I just can't. I'm going to need to run with people that I know. I can't do Mythic Plus with randos.
Yeah, I feel you.
Yeah. Anyways, let's move on to our next topic of the night. Mm-hmm. The lack of good gear from dungeons, which has been really fucking annoying. Especially with trying to get a good weapon.
Yeah.
With not only a good weapon, at a good item level with the stats you want.
So remember when I was like tinfoil hatting what was going on with the gear in like the first week?
Yeah.
How it's like there's a Azurite plan, and you to turn the frogs gay, and you're just loot locked to the last boss every time, then you get fucked, Well, I was right.
We need to do an Alex Jones scene for you.
We really do, dude. And the globalist collective, and they're organizing, and they're making sure you only get one looted dungeon, and it's always the goddamn Azurite piece, But yeah, I was right, and they fixed it, so now RNG is proper, so one person can get all the loot pieces from a dungeon again. It's not this bullshit, contrived, fake luck where we don't have any fake luck. It's so obvious whose turn it is to get the piece of loot. Thank God that's gone. I think there's still a little bit of it left over, but all we really did was go back to the way it used to be, which is fine. My guess, though, is that they didn't just change the way it works for 5-mans. I bet they changed the way it works for Raid. They nipped that in the bud before it became a problem. Can you imagine doing the boss fights and which players are up for gear? Like,
dude, right?
Yeah, that's not good. Like, holy shit.
That'd be all bad.
It'd be all bad. Like, I don't even know how to begin. Like, what the best guilds in the world could cheese with that. Like, I don't even know.
Yeah.
Because then you could bring. It would just be insane. It would be bad. So we need RNG. We need the fucking swayhos to get to 7 pieces of loot in a row and get just completely looted up, even though they don't deserve it. Because of luck, like we need it. Otherwise, the whole system fails, I think, because the second you start being able to predict it, what's the point of personal loot even? Why don't we just all earn tokens and we get to spend our tokens, like it has to be random. But yeah, we're going to be using like a master loot or just some add-on or some shit, so I think it's going to be like if you're eligible to trade, you have to just immediately trade it, like Scouts Honor kind of shit. I cannot wait for the amount of shit that players are going to have to deal with now, and because Blizzard attempted to make them have less bad experiences. Man, it is going to be so much fun. Like, imagine some dude like, oh, I'm keeping that for my AoE build on my off spec just in case, like, okay, clown. Let's settle down, like, trade it. I don't want it. It's my piece of gear. I want it fair and square. It's like, trade it or you get kicked out of the guild. Wah, it goes to the forums. Why, damn you, Blizzard.
Why you don't give me my gear? I gave you too much money per month.
Right? It's my $15 a month. I get to keep the gear. I'm going to use that line every time. Like, I want some boots that I don't need. I can trade them. It's my $15 a month. I can do whatever I want with my boots. But yeah. What were we talking about?
Oh, we just started.
I miss sleep.
Good gear.
Lack of good gear, yeah. So I noticed some things, right? You notice that there are no stat 6 trinkets anymore?
Yeah, that's right.
The community didn't like those. I don't know why. I love stat 6 trinkets. I think that they have a purpose in the game. Now,
a lot of those active trinkets,
they're garbage.
Yeah.
The thing is, the problem with the active trinkets is they're literally made with bad players in mind, right? So somebody's sitting there making these trinkets and like, this one's gonna heal for 15k over 8 seconds. That's a lot. I'm like, 15k? I shit 15k in 1 second. Literally, right? So if it has a 1 minute cooldown and it only does 15k and I do 15k HPS, you've only increased my HPS by 1%. Why would I not just want a fucking fat stack of like mastery or something that would, why would I not just take like 200 mastery? 200 mastery translates into like 3% HPS increase. It just seems like it's made with potatoes in mind. It's like it's made for somebody who's so bad at healing that that's a large amount to them.
And it's funny that you mention it, like with them having new players in mind, because I like read this thing right now. It was saying like, so Azurite, you're always guaranteed to get it on the last. Well, you're gonna get it on the last boss, right?
Mm-hmm.
And because there's so many, there's like a combinations of Azurite traits, right?
Yeah. It's
like a way to falsely give new players a feeling of gear progression.
Yeah.
Right? Because now they'll be like, oh, a new Azurite piece. Oh, it's the same item level and stats as the other one, but it has a different Azurite trait.
Yeah.
Look at all this gear I have. I have so much to pick from. When in reality, only one of them is good with one good trait.
But they don't know that. Yeah.
No, they don't. So like they're masking, and not only that, because you're getting all this Azurite gear and it looks like you're gaining power, you kind of don't see the lack of weapons you're receiving. You know what I mean? Like it's so fucking easy to get all this Azurite gear, but not a good weapon.
Yeah, agreed. I think this expansion has exposed a problem that we already knew with Blizzard, but it's like really, really bad. It's like there is a severe lack of information on anything. Tooltips. What does this shit do? They're literally using language like, does a relatively high amount of damage percent chance on melee hit. What the fuck? Like what are you saying? Like what does this mean? Right? Like the like I had to test out the Dark Moon card, the mana one, right? The Tides.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't say anything on the description. You realize that, right? It does not tell you how much mana it gives back.
It just says that it does.
It just says that it does. No, it does. And so I tested it out. Oh, lo and behold, it gives less mana back than the previous expansion's Dark Moon card deck. Like it literally gives back less mana than the whatever the one was, right? Like it's just so stupid. I mean, it's still okay because the healing effect it comes at like 2.5% of your healing, so it's like meh, it's okay. But it's like, and with these Azurite traits, they'll be like, has a chance when this happens to give you this much crit for this second. Okay, that's great. What is it? What's the PPM, right? What's the proc chance? Is it locked? Can you get more than a certain amount of procs? Is it based off just a flat chance? What skills does it proc off? Does it have independent chance? Like, there's no information at all. Just give us an advanced tooltip option already. Like, we slave away playing this game. I devote all my time playing this goddamn game, and I have to go to a third-party website like 16 times a day to get information. Why? You're not a small indie company as much as we meme that you are, right? Put some extra information on these tooltips. Give us some information for nerds. You could literally have a tab that says info for nerds, and it drops down, boop, and says proc per minute, so and so, proc chance, boop, 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 all the information, and then I can go with my big brain. Well, I can crunch the numbers and go, oh, okay, well, that averages out to basically about 200 crit. Crit for me is at a 1.5 value, so I know that 200 crit would equal basically 3% increased HPS. Cool, moving on. But no, I have to spend 15 minutes per Azurite trait researching and fucking basically playing Hacker Man, just trying to figure out what the proc per minute on this dumb Azurite trait is, just to find out that's a waste of time, and there's 15 more just like it. How many different Azurite traits proc like crit or some kind of stat for a differing amount of time with different language? It's like, has a chance to give you this, and then also when it ends it gives your players this. Has a chance to give you this, but then it doesn't give it to your players. Has a chance to give it to you this, but it can be extended. Has a chance to give you this, but only for a very small amount of time. Has a chance it's like there are so many Azurite traits and they're all the same and they're boring as fuck and none of them augment anything. Where's the takeaways? Well, I don't understand.
Have you seen the discrepancy between the DPS ones?
Oh, they're hilarious.
How what was it? The generic ones are so much better than the class specific ones.
Yep.
That there's no reason to even pick this class specific.
Yeah, one. And I recognized that issue like before the game even came out. I was like, these numbers seem really off. There's something wrong. I don't think we should ever be having like class specific like things next to like these passives, right? Because it's gonna be almost impossible to balance. Like, how do you balance something where it's like increases the duration of your rejuve by 1 second to next to something that says like gives your spells a chance to grant you 800 crit for 8 seconds? Like, one of those is going to be useless. Sorry. Like, and that's why I think they intentionally don't want you to know, because they don't want you to figure it out so quickly. They want you to test it and get a feel for it. I don't want to feel anything. I want to know. Right? Like, that's been the biggest problem right now. So I honestly haven't really done the amount of like I don't know, theory crafting on these Azurite traits, because it just feels like an uphill battle. It feels like I'm fighting Blizzard every step of the way. It's like I'm trying to pull back the curtain, and they're like, I'm like, hey, what's behind that curtain? And they're going, hey, no.
Blizzard's making small changes to the Azurite traits behind the scenes. Like, they're just slowly
altering it
by like 0.1%.
I've never felt so I don't know, like, what's the term? Like, I feel like I'm very suspicious of them. I never felt so betrayed by them. Like, they are just tweaking things, and they don't feel like it's necessary to tell anybody. They're just like, oh, by the way, they called it a secret 50% haste buff to Feral. That was their description. They're saying they reduced the secret 50% haste on Feral from 50% to 25%.
Wow.
What? What's secret haste? Hello? No, this is shit's not allowed, dude. It's just so stupid. Like, is my character, I control what he does. You show me what passives my character has. Don't fuck with my shit behind your little scenes with your little tuning knife. Right? How do you want your game to be ever taken seriously if I can't theorycraft it and become better at it? Because you're hiding shit from me. Intentionally. For no other reason than just to hide it. It's like weird. It's like they think like, oh god, don't let the plebs read some things that might hurt their mind. We gotta keep things simple. Hey, mobile game, by the way, indie company, by the way. We want to attract the Instagram crowd, by the way. It's like, God forbid they get a little red pilled, right? They read something that sparks something in their brain, and they're like, wait a second, what's a PPM? What is this?
I don't know. Maybe I don't know. There's just it's just frustrating with these Azurite, all this bullshit. But
and they don't even do it like they say they do either. It's like sometimes they just function in a different way, you know. Mm-hmm. Like the Regrowth one for Resto Druid, it's like
even when you try to stack the Azurite traits, it's still not.
They don't work properly, and like they don't just like it's not additive. Like sometimes it has diminishing return, or sometimes they don't like do anything else. Like it seems very much that like some of these traits they just. It seems like they wanted to add this to the kit of the character anyways, and they just needed Azurite as an excuse for you to basically auto-select it every time because it's basically mandatory. For example, Light of Dawn having a 40-yard range. When in any goddamn situation as a raid healer, you will not take that trait. Let me know. I'll wait. Oh, wait, you won't because you have to take it every single fucking time. And here's the thing. The first point is God tier. The second point is useless, basically, because it doesn't do enough to actually improve it. So it's so clearly designed for you to have to invest one of your Azurite pieces, one of your precious 3 Azurite pieces, by the way, to Light of Dawn, just to get to function how they probably wanted it to be in the first place. And I think they think they're clever, but they're not. Like, I see right through this shit. When you give something a bonus, a stackable bonus, and then you give something a static bonus that doesn't stack, it's so clearly obvious that you're only wanting them to grab one piece of that particular thing to unlock the bonus, right? So, for example, like the Regrowth one's good for Resto Druid. It's like, increase the amount that your Regrowth hot does over the duration by like 1,000, and then says now, and Regrowths now also apply their healing to your Life Bloom target. Now, I read that as all your Regrowths are going to also heal the Life Bloom target when they heal. Because, I can read. That's not what it does.
Yeah.
They don't heal your Life Bloom target magically like a beacon. They just apply Life Bloom, or they just apply your Regrowth hot to your Life Bloom target every time you cast Regrowth. Which is really good, but it's not stackable, right? It's not like you can apply 2 Regrowth hots because they don't stack. It's not like you can apply a Regrowth hot and then even get like the... what do they call it? The snapshotting 30% increase to the hot duration? That doesn't happen. You get no additional benefit from stacking 2 of these Azurite traits, okay? So there's another Azurite trait as a healer you have to take, right? It's just, at every turn, it seems like they've limiting your options. And then, what few options you have, they limit the information about those options. It's like they don't even want you to think about it.
Yeah.
They're like, no, don't worry about it. You just go with the one that you think is cool. That's cool. Cool, real cool. And I'm like, but what does this actually do? What's the proc rate? No. Bad. Hey, don't worry about that.
Big Brother doesn't want you thinking.
Really though, that's what it feels like.
Oh shit, dude, we actually skipped the topic.
All right, let's go. Topic.
Warfronts. We'll just go from Warfronts.
What are they?
Straight to.
I don't know. Do you know?
So, yeah. Apparently, it's
I feel like I probably should know.
They're not PvP.
Okay.
It's like PvE faction PvP.
Isn't it the shit that was supposed to be like Warcraft 3? Like RTS style?
Basically, it's their 20-man PvE large-scale cooperative mode meant to represent the large-scale war on the home front as members of each faction.
Are you
fight
reading
to
this
control-
from something?
Yeah, critical location of their war effort.
Okay, critical something war effort. All right, whatever. I mean, I'm gonna do it. I think it's mandatory. You have to do it anyways.
Yeah, it seems pretty cool. Like,
Whatever.
basically, you have to gather resources, and then you take control of the Arathi Highlands between the Horde and Alliance. And once you have control of it, you get access to unique world boss and a series of wear spawns and other rewards during the period.
Okay.
That they take it over. So it's a collective.
Oh, like server wide thing or something, or what?
Yeah, and then once you get control of the Highlands, you're able to queue for a for the experience.
Oh.
And then that's where the Warcraft 3 RTS thing comes into play.
And that's the Warfronts.
Yeah, it allows you to play the role of the lieutenant leading the charge on a group for a massive battle.
Okay.
So it seems pretty cool.
Okay.
A new way to introduce a different thing to World of Warcraft, but it seems like they're taking that kind of like what you did in Legion when you were trying to gather resources for your different buildings and trying to build them up. So
yeah,
do their thing, right?
Yeah, but that was a flop. But they're trying to like limit that to just like a particular instance or quick thing you can do.
Plus they're involving actual, like you're actually part of the battle. Like you're actually fighting.
Okay, I mean,
so
that's interesting. I wouldn't mind having like a thing where somebody plays as like an RTS style drop down, and they're the ones building our buildings, and then we spawn out of them. Like you have essentially like a commander, and then like a team of like, I don't know, you know what I mean? Like there's been games like that before, where one person builds the base and basically is like the commander, and then there's like 9 other people that they get queued with, and those actually play as the soldiers who go out and fight.
Yeah.
So like the dude would be building like the arrow towers and like the defenses and like the places where you can like spawn as like certain units, but I don't know. We'll see. And it's also gonna be mandatory because we're gonna have to do that shit for like certain things, and that's what our mission board gets further unlocked
getting
with,
those world bosses and those rare spawns gonna be
the world boss, dude. Speaking of which, you know what? We kind of glossed over it, but there are 0 good trinket options for healers right now, and they seem like they're really forcing the raid trinkets on us, but they're all garbage. Like, have you seen them? They're all just awful.
Yeah, I need to glance through them.
Yeah, it's more bullshit.
Hey, by the way, your camera's starting to do the flashing black thing too.
Oh.
And you've been going robot as well.
Oh, and robot as well.
Yeah.
Oh, I was dropping some frames.
Fuck is going on with Discord right
now? Fuck me. Oh, let's wrap this up maybe. What's our next topic?
Yeah, let's go on the last one, which is the WoW economy.
Oh, okay.
Basically,
so there's all kinds of theories right now about what's going to happen. Some people think the prices are going to go down before raids. Some people think they're going to spike even higher.
Dude, and did you see this shit? So there's an anchor read world quest for Herbalists.
Yeah.
EU gets 10, we get 5.
Whoa. Why? Just because?
I don't know. I haven't found an explanation for it. But with one of the most high costing herbs in the game.
I think somebody's looked at all of the emissaries, and it's like by far EU's emissary quests have been way better than ours.
Yeah,
like
and
US Horde has been like more shafted.
Yeah, didn't the water quests not give rep for us in the beginning?
Yeah, also that too. Yeah, so if you're Horde and you live in the US, you have been shafted more than any other region's races. So EU just had better emissaries, and then Alliance in general got rep for their wanted quest. We didn't. So there's been multiple things that I feel like have really kept us down, and I feel like even though we're the underdogs, so I don't feel that much weaker, but it certainly does feel kind of shitty. It felt more shitty earlier on, right?
Yeah. How much are the flasks that we're supposed to get?
How much do they cost?
Yeah.
I think they cost like 2.5K right now.
Chump change.
And so who knows what that's gonna. Oh yeah. Wait, did you sell that item?
Yeah.
Oh, DKO, can I have some money?
200K.
That's how much you made?
Yeah.
Why are you trying to sell that for like $1 million?
Okay, so here's what happened.
Mm-hmm.
I looked it up.
Mm-hmm.
It was like 1.5 mil.
Okay.
Right. But I was looking at the wrong servers.
Mm.
But when I looked it up on the auction house, right,
Mm-hmm.
it was 600K.
Okay.
Right. Literally, the day I posted for that amount, right, the 1 mil, trying to see if I can get it. All those prices, literally overnight, were cut in half.
Damn.
They all dropped to 300,000.
So do you think if you had just put it up for like $500,000 right away, you would have sold it?
Mm-mm.
Oh.
Because everybody in the server was saying that everyone that wanted it already has it. I'd be willing to pay that much for it. And the only people that want it at this point are those who are desperate enough to pay that amount.
Interesting.
Because, so mine, like there's a guy who was also trying to sell his, but his was only indestructible. It was the 350 with no socket. So he actually paid 250K for that one. But he was really desperate. He was like, dude, I'll give you 200K for that.
Wow. So 200K for a socket.
Yeah.
Oh, that was another thing we didn't really talk about. The impact of sockets and secondaries on item level, right? I personally feel like a socket is worth at least 10 item level right now, maybe 15. I feel like, especially on the piece of gear it's on, is really dependent, right? It's like all your lethal pieces, guys. Like, so like your wrist, your gloves, your cape. If it has a socket, it's worth like 20 item levels. On your bigger pieces, it's only worth maybe like 15 or 10. But like on the dumb pieces, like sockets are worth so much. Like if you don't have like a stat weight add-on or something helping you out, and if you're just equipping the highest item level shit, then you're gonna be so much farther behind. Like just equipping highest item level as Blizzard intended it is the worst way to do things.
Yeah.
But yeah, let me get some of that money, big boy.
Yeah, I'll think about it.
I'll think about it. But yeah, the economy, I think it's doing well. People are doing shit. It's weird how many people bought tokens. So the price of tokens went down because the supply increased. And the supply increased because everybody bought tokens. Oh, you know a random thing we can actually talk about? Did you know apparently Blizzard sold more copies of this expansion leading up to the launch and including the first day than any other time? Like
Really?
by far. Yeah, this was the most sold expansion already. Like
I believe it.
That's insane. Because I actually don't feel like they did the greatest job with, I mean, I guess they did have commercials, huh?
Yeah.
And there's all kinds of different theories, but you know what theory I like the most? That somehow the classic announcement is the reason why it's doing so well. You know, classic nerds are just not playing classic right now and just playing World of Warcraft because they know classic is coming out.
Yeah.
There's actually a lot. Like they're all just switching over from YouTube because they're all getting banned anyways. And so now we have all these people like over in our lane. It's like we have all these Estefans, these Stay Safes, all these like vanilla WoW players, and they're actually all really cool. I actually like them, but I think they're just biding their time here so Blizzard can release vanilla officially. But either way, that's still money in Blizzard's pocket, right?
Yeah.
Like I think people are hyped. They just are excited to play WoW. They're gonna play this expansion. By the time this expansion dies off or they get bored, boom, Blizzard's gonna hit us with that vanilla World of Warcraft, that good. We're gonna be hooked on that. By the time we get bored with that, boom, Blizzard's gonna hit us with a new expansion. By the time we get bored with that, boom, Blizzard's gonna hit us with the expansion for vanilla, aka BC. We play that, we're gonna get bored. Boom, Blizzard hits us with the next expansion for the retail game. And I'll be 45, and I'll be on my 15th expansion, and I'll be fucking also playing, you know, the vanilla Pandarian server. like I don't even know. Like I'll be playing like vanilla fucking Legion. I'm like, look, I got an artifact weapon. Back in my day, I was rank 1 holy priest. Look, I can do the flash heal build again.
Too true.
I would actually not mind going back in time to certain raids periods just to have a couple of days with the old builds that I had. Like,
yeah,
I would kill to play my Restadruid build from Draenor. Like, be able to heal with Wrath again. I would kill to be able to do the flash heal healing from like Ian from Legion. Like there's a lot of particular moments that really you know I find rather striking with certain builds. They're really fun.
Yeah.
So
would just be interesting to try.
but yeah, it's gonna be rough, huh? Things are gonna cost a lot of money for raid. And there's a real shortage right now with herbs and there's like some weird issues with herbs right now. They were talking about it before, where like certain paths that lead to certain herbs don't have any other herbs. So it's like, I don't know. It's actually not a bad time financially wise to be a gatherer of any sort, really.
Yeah.
There's just such a shortage. Everyone's stockpiling. You'd make a lot of decent money, especially the days leading up to the raid. God knows what the prices are going to be of raid. Here's a good question. Do you think the theory that everyone's going to flood the market come raid day is true? Or do you think everyone's going to buy everything up and there's actually going to be nothing to get and it's going to be super high prices?
I think there's going to be super high prices. That's why I'm probably going to buy some shit tonight.
Maybe.
But...
yeah, I am dropping frames. I don't know what it is.
Okay, well, let's just cut it. This has been fucking terrible in terms of our tech.
Do you think it's because it records to like a cloud, I think, simultaneously? That maybe that's an issue.
I mean, did you use this last week?
I don't know. Should we do like an outro?
Oh,
You know?
Yeah.
Before I start recording.
I appreciate check out the Holy Paladin video.
Yeah.
We'll be back next week with an even. This was like the worst podcast that we've done.
Yeah.
By far.
I know. I'm just so tired, man. There's just so much shit to do. It's like it's right before raid. I gotta cram. I gotta learn all the fights. I'm still playing 4 fucking characters. Like I just want to commit Sudoku, you know.
I feel you, dude. I love tic-tac-toe. Anyways, we'll see you guys next week with a lot better quality. Hopefully Brian learns how to work his stuff and look a lot better. So appreciate you, and we'll see you next time. Click and
motherfucker.